Hello, it's Andrew Lightheart from smallbiztalks.com and welcome to Developing Presentation Superpowers. This is part one. The main recommendation I want to give you is based around the fact that as small business people or people who own a business, we're so often worried about selling, and it becomes even worse when someone gets in front of a group. They think they need to talk about their service and they need to talk about the features and benefits, or maybe something slightly sneaky like what you need to know if you're going to hire an image consultant. Um, the other thing that people sometimes do is they sometimes do a data dump. They're such specialists in their field that they can't help but want to give a lot of information. My first recommendation for you, if you're going to be doing a presentation about your business, is to structure your presentation around sincere recommendations. Structure your presentation around sincere recommendations. Think about what the word recommendation has inside of it. First, that you've thought about who you're talking to. Secondly, that your recommendation is good. You would never recommend a restaurant to someone if it wasn't something that they liked, so you had thought about them and their preferences. You're also not going to recommend a restaurant where the food is rubbish or the service is terrible. You're going to really think about what does this person like, and what's a good recommendation that's going to match that. So how does this work? If you're a web designer, then you can do a talk giving recommendations about how people can improve their own websites. If you're a style consultant, you're going to give people recommendations about how they can improve their look, and you could maybe specialize a little bit and give something more specific. If you're a landscape garden consultant, then you can give people some advice about which plants to choose, or how to combine things, or how to plan a space, how to use a very small amount of room. What this does is that if you were to just sell at people, they walk away going, he was someone who was just selling his product. Whereas if you're able to give recommendations, they walk away feeling like you're a really helpful, credible person. And it does a lot to establish your credibility in people's minds as well as an expert. There's a woman in the Jade store here in Singapore called Chanel, who, when we first went there, spent, don't know, an hour teaching us about jade because we were interested. She taught us about how to tell a good piece from a bad piece from a great piece of jade. Didn't do any pushing of the products. We've been back to that store so many times, and it's really interesting that when I go in, I can zoom straight in on the best piece of jade in the store, and I've also gone, yeah, I'm not going to buy that because that's cheap. Now, she did a great job of educating me. She becomes the jade woman in my head, and also I then go back and buy her products. It's the same when you're doing a presentation. So my top piece of advice for you as you're planning a presentation is to think of sincere recommendations you can make to people. And sidebar, the recommendation can't be that they use your service. So that's number one, how to develop presentation superpowers. Structure your presentation around sincere recommendations. This is Andrew Lightheart from smallbiztalks.com. See you next time.